the opposite of that.
I do know that. I just have to get there, don't I?
Yep, yep. Okay, so contacts in command. I mean, that's where you really need to start, right? You've got your database. It's all about working with the people. Um, and so I'm gonna go use my contact record. This is my alter ego. One of the things that I recommend is that you always have a record that's yourself using your personal email so you can test stuff out on it. I don't always trust the way things are going to work or look or whatever. So I pretty much always test things out on myself before I do anything else. So just the contact record in general. Um, One, you've got lots of information you can put in here. So here's my phone number, my email address. So there's lead sources. Okay, so let me just go open it. Oops, and it's turning blue. So email, the owner. So the owner has to do with if you're on a team. And actually, none of you guys are on teams. Tags. How many of you guys, just by show of hands, are using tags? Tags are really powerful. Oh, yeah, not all of you have your pictures here. Tags are really powerful. They are a way to group people so that you can easily um, find them. And your tags, okay, so let me just go and get rid of myself so you can see more. And oh, by the way, my contacts probably look a little different than yours. Yours probably has an update something here. So I hate that. So I changed the look. And let me make this a little bit bigger. I change it. So I customize my columns. So you can go into customize columns and you can pick what things do you want to see. Um, so quite frankly, I didn't care about the last visited at the moment. I didn't care about the stage or what day they were born or anything like that. What I wanted was their primary phone, their tags, primary address, primary email. Okay, so I did an updated and a last contacted. And what that's going to do is it's going to put them over on this right-hand side, and you can drag and drop them to put them in the order that you want to see them. So you can just hit apply. And also the other thing you might want to change is your default setting for the number of contacts you can see at a time, I think is 25, but you can set it to 50. So I have mine by default set to 50. And once you get it the way that you want it, there should actually be, the last few days I've been playing with people, you can identify what your default view is and set it to that. So when you go into the system, that's the view that you're going to get. So that might be something that'll help you out with being able to see things the way you want to see them. With the tags here, you see that there's a bunch of colorful things. So I tag things a lot. When I was using eEdge, I used groups a lot. They're exactly the same thing. So Lisa, if you want to get in on your PC, go look on Facebook. There was a link there. Just pop into it. So I do, okay, so we've got, okay, this is a possible, this was somebody that I had bought as a lead many, many years ago. They were potentially a buyer and a seller. This person's in my Rochester circle. I used to have that Rochester circle, but I have too many tags now, so I've shortened them. And then I had created a neighborhood smart plan where, and we can go in and look at it if you want, where I sent them a text. And then I sent them an email telling them that I was going to put them on a neighborhood nurture and telling them about how that worked. And so I wanted to make sure that I didn't send it to the same people all over again. So I created a tag. So whenever I set somebody up on that smart plan, I just set them with a tag for set neighborhood smart plan. I also have tags for the years that I worked with somebody so that I did a transaction with them. So you can use tags any way that you want. You can create a tag as when you're in a contact. If you just start typing in a tag that the system doesn't know about it, it asks if you want to create it. So I'm just going to go back to the other way to do tags is if you want to assign tags ahead of time, you can go to your settings and then contacts and custom tags and create them that way. And if you guys, when you have questions, please unmute yourself. I just want to make sure it doesn't get too noisy for the recording. Or if you have ahas or anything like that. So here's a tag. If I wanted to say, okay, I also worked with her in 2015. And then if I wanted to, let's just say, make a new tag. So I typed in something the system doesn't know about. I can create a custom tag. And I can make it this color. And then I save it. And voila. I now have a couple more tags that I didn't have before. I thought I just set that one up. Oh, I actually have to do an add. So then add more information. So you can add in what's their preferred method of contact. So if you've got somebody that's a new person that you're talking with, you know, maybe they say they only contact me via text. You can put that in here. Additional emails, phone numbers, etc. You can put those in there as often, as much as you want. And you can identify specifically what they are. So addresses, if you have somebody's address, definitely put it in here. And also say that it's the same as their mailing address, if that's what it is. And then there's this nice about thing. So legal name, okay, I'm not really going to care about that. Birthdays, if you have somebody's birthday, put it in there. You can put them on a birthday smart plan. If you've worked with this person and you've sold them a home, put in the date and put them on a home anniversary smart plan. Relationships. So if there's, so this is kind of a, do you put a couple in as, you know, Anne and Frank so-and-so, or do you have Anne has her own record and Frank has his own record? My view is that each one has their own record because, okay, they probably live in the same place, but they have probably their own email. They probably have their own cell phone number. And so what you do is you identify your relationship. So let's see. So go find somebody else that's in the database and say, okay, so this is, okay, let's say, pretend this is my son. And so then you've got a relationship and you can actually just click back and forth. The other thing that happens is if you have spouses identified, when you do mailing labels, it will give you the spouses, this name and this name, so that you can send it to both of them. And then we just hit save. Now what I've got here, so you see that I now have the relationship. I don't have any idea who Kay Whitus is, but that's somebody I added at one point. And I can go and I can very easily switch over to their record. It doesn't have much of anything in it, but I can go back and forth. Why are we not going back to me? Okay, I broke it. And I have no idea why this B is in here. Okay. So as the result of what I did, one, I've got now 3 tags. I have a phone number. I've got an email address. I have a neighborhood that's identified for me based on the address that I have in here. When I have that, I can do a neighborhood nurture. Have many of you used that yet? The neighborhood nurture?
No.
Okay. I'll show you what it looks like.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could just show us.
Yep. So as I said, I use myself as a guinea pig. Okay, so here's my monthly neighborhood update. This is a smart plan. Smart plans go out through command email. So one of the things you'll want to do if you haven't done a manage on your command email in your settings, you'll want to make sure that the name that's going to display is the name that you want, and that the reply to email address is the one that you want to use. But it's going to come out like this, and this is what I get. So I'm going to get an email that looks like this. This is my main neighborhood, and click on Explore Neighborhood. And what it does is when you have that neighborhood information, it basically makes a little website that is specific to that person. And so I have a couple of different neighborhoods identified in mine. But so here's the Park Avenue neighborhood snapshot. So it tells me what's currently for sale, and I can click through any of those. If I decided I wanted to search, I could go and do a search here, but it shows me this is the neighborhood. And you know, we have these neighborhoods because we have an agreement with Nextdoor. So that's how we know the neighborhood boundaries. And so, okay, so I can make this bigger, scroll. What am I doing? Use Control plus scroll to make it bigger. There we go. So I can just click around in there. So this is the same type of functionality that your websites have for searching. And so there, of course, is the interested, let's talk. There's always a contact form. And this information that's here on the bottom basically comes from your marketing profile. And any of that stuff, if you don't have it set up, if you just go look in the Conquer command document, it'll walk you through, you know, what your settings should be, etc. through that, including putting in a link to the New York State's fair housing notice. We don't quite conform to what New York State wants us to yet. But we're trying. So then there's a second page for that. So neighborhood stats. And again, okay, so now I flipped over to North Whitten Village. Okay, so let me go back to Park Avenue. 3 homes for sale, 5 in pending, average home price, price per square foot, days on the market, more current stats. So this is kind of cool. If somebody wants to know how far they are away from the Park Avenue neighborhood, they can do a search and find that. It shows the schools for the neighborhood. We also have an agreement with Yelp. So it's going to show the restaurants and things around here. So these are highlights. There's restaurants, groceries, shopping, cafes. So all of this is pulled in actually just because you had somebody's address. So if I go back to my command, so this is the first one. This is my primary neighborhood, and I added a couple more. And you could see that I myself, the alter ego Chris Whitus, could add a neighborhood. So the neighborhood nurture, the idea is even if somebody's not selling a house or buying a house, they still want to know what's going on around them. So this is something that you can share with them. If they are looking to buy a house or kind of starting to think about it, add the different neighborhoods that they're thinking about, or they can do it themselves. This little web page is specific to them. But when you're in your contact record, you can just go and do a preview right here, and you'll see what this is going to look like. So exactly the same thing we just looked at. And okay, so for smart plans, first you go to smart plans. Over here, pick out the smart plans that you might want to use with your database. And once you've done that, so all you have to do is go to smart plans, say add them to a smart plan. So here's the ones that I have my alter ego on are my monthly neighborhood nurture and my quarterly call plan. So I could say, okay, I want to add her to a smart plan. These are the different ones that I have set up. And so here, let's put me on a bi-weekly one too. When you do a smart plan, you're going to have the option to do a start now or to start on a certain date. And so I'm just going to say, here, let me start now. And so it tells me, okay, if I have a Twilio account set up, all SMS messages will automatically be sent from them. That's just a standard thing because this doesn't have any text messages with it. But so if I confirm, it's been submitted. So I am now, my alter ego is now set up on yet another smart plan. So smart plans, if you haven't, I don't know why it's blinking on me. Look what you guys did. I don't know what it's doing right at the moment. A little refresh is always good for the soul. So anyway, if you haven't selected smart plans, just go over here to smart plans and you can look at the library that are set up. And here's the different smart plans that Keller Williams has for you. So you can go in, you can look at the steps. Yes, Lisa, it must be you. So there's open house follow-up. There's long-term nurture. So just go in, look at the steps. So you can say, hey, does that look like something that I want to use or not? And so if it is something, so this 8x8 new contact engagement, it's 50 days, it's 15 steps, it's 8 touches. I'm not going to view the steps right here, but here, I'm just going to say, add it to my smart plans. And then it is now added to my library. It's kind of funny, my smart plans versus library. And I could use it with anybody that I wanted to. Now, another way I can do things is I can say, so one, you might be able to edit this. And in the Conquer command document, it talks a lot about editing. But so here's a text message. If you're going to do a text message, you have to have your Twilio account set up. And one of the other things, so with Twilio, you'll also see in Conquer command, Twilio is going to assign you a different number, not your cell phone number. So one of the things you want to make sure is that, and this is already set up here, that you identify who you are to that person. So this is already says, hey, contact first name, contact last name, and those are merge fields from your database. It's agent first name, agent last name, and team name. So I can go and I can remove those. One, I'm not on a team, so I would want to take that away. And I don't usually say last name, but you can adjust it as you want. And here's merge field. So if you want to add anything else in there, you can absolutely do that. So this one has, yeah.
Just a quick question. So when people get these messages, then it's not from a phone number they recognize then, correct?
Correct. That's why you absolutely want to say who you are.
Gotcha. And how much is Twilio a month?
Per month doesn't apply. It's about 3/4 cent per text. So where a per month can come into play is, and again, that's all in Conquer command, is the phone number they're going to assign you is a 512 phone number, which is Austin, Texas. If you decide that you want a 585 number, you will pay $1 a month for that. And the way Twilio works is they just recharge your account as it gets low. But so this has, okay, send a text, a delay of 7 days, send an email. So again, this email is going to go out through command email, a delay, make a phone call. This is going to give you a task. Like Lisa said, she uses tasks a lot. A delay, send a text message. So it's basically, what did I say? This is an 8x8. So 8x8 is 8 contacts in 8 weeks. But if you want to modify anything that's here, you can. You can also add in extra spots for your to your smart plan. And then if there's a smart plan and you want to send it to a whole bunch of people, you can do that in a couple of different ways. So one is, okay, from the smart plan itself. So my monthly neighborhood nurture, I currently have 127 people set up on it. I could go and add contacts from here. I could go find them by tags. So those tags are, again, are very, very important. You're going to love them. So you can see what's going on here. Or the other way, the easy way to do this is if you want to send, so my monthly neighborhood nurture, well, I did that smart I told you I did a customized smart plan. So what I do, go into filters, and I only want those people that have neighborhoods. So I can do the add neighborhood. Has neighborhoods? Yes. And then I'm going to apply it. And those are the only people that I'm going to see. And I've got 208 people with neighborhoods. And these first ones, you can see I tagged them to say I sent the neighborhood smart plan. So I'm going to go through a few. Well, actually, I'm not going to fully do this, but so if you find the people that you want, you can just say if you want to send something to all of these guys. So I now have 50 people selected because I'm looking at 50. I can select a bulk action. So I can send a bulk text. I can add tags. I can add to an emailing list. I could add them all to a smart plan. Or I could export them, just those contacts, or export to mailing labels. So there's a lot of things that you could do with that. So if I said, okay, I want to add them to a smart plan, then it says, okay, which smart plan do you want to add them to? And I can just say, oh, I want to put them on the birthday one, which I'm not going to do because that would not make any sense with these. But I just wanted to show you the process.
Chris?
Yeah.
Is it fixed now that you can do more than 50 at a time?
Well, so actually that's a good lead in for this. There is now over here, these three little dots next to the add contact, let you export all contacts, let you export mailing labels. So the only difference, I'm getting some funny feedback. The only difference between this and this is the export mailing labels just has what you would need for a mailing label. And then there's export mailing labels as a PDF. So the export all contacts, that's going to get all of them. However, you're going to get all of them when you choose that. It's not going to select by tags. But you could easily do an export of all of them. The export mailing labels as a PDF. So those are in Avery 5160 format. What I saw when I played with it a while ago was they weren't in any specific order. And, I talked about the spouse, that when you do the mailing label that you can get so-and-so and so-and-so. It didn't do that. So I'm thinking that there's some more things that are going to be done with it along the way. But yeah, so you can get all of them. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let me go back. Just some of the really simple things here. There's so much you can do. So if I go again to myself and I want to make a phone call, I can go and click on my phone number here, and it says, okay, how would you like to contact her? Would you like to call her, or would you like to send a text? So if I say I want to call myself, it's my PC knows about my Google phone. And so it asks if I want to make a call from there. So if I go to if I say yep on that, I am going to get, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it sets me up here on my phone. All I have to do is click and it'll make the call for me. So one of the nice things here is it also, doing it that way, it also sets you up with notes. So you can take notes on the call right here and then save them and add them to the timeline. So that's one good reason for doing it that way.
Quick question.
Yep.
Where you said Google phone,
Oh,
does that
I haven't-
mean, could it be any phone?
yeah.
Okay.
My phone just happens to be a Pixel.
Okay.
So yeah, it's any phone that it knows about. So if I go and I want to do a text, it's going to, this is my Twilio number right here, and I can write them a text message and then just send a text. So if I go back, how far? So here's emails, where I have myself linked into my email. Okay, here's the text. So this is from a smart plan that I did. So if you're sending text through here, it's going to show you the text message that you sent. And this is what I did. And it actually, if you watch the thing on paid ads that JD Brown did, one of the things he said is they made sure when they used their Twilio account that they said that this is my marketing mobile number. So I use this here to introduce this as my marketing number and let them know that they could text me with this number or call or use the cell that they already know. And people can text you back and you'll be able to see what they sent you and you can respond to them directly from there. Okay, so we talked about, calling them, emailing them. Oh, email. So if I just click an email from here, it's going to, the email account I have linked to this is my kw.com email. So it's going to go to that and set me up with waiting. And I think, yeah. So I have the email address and it sets me up so I can send an individual email to them. So we've really got actually 3 different ways to send emails through command. If you want to do just an individual one, you can do it with the email account that you have linked in with your command. Okay, so we talked about smart plans, setting them up on smart plans. So smart plans, you can use the canned smart plans. One of the other things that's coming, it kind of scares me a little bit, but people can submit their own smart plans for us to use. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but and the initial one is going to be free. So somebody offers up and says, hey, here's my Facebook lead smart plan. Feel free to use it and you'll be able to select that and then take it into your smart plans and adjust it as you would want to, without retyping stuff. And the reason it kind of scares me is because it could be, I think there could be a lot of them. Along the way, I think it might also become a paid service where somebody asks to be paid for their awesome smart plan. But that's one of the coming soon things. Newsletters. How many of you guys have done newsletters? Nope. So this is another thing. I used to use the monthly newsletter out of eEdge. So it was a nice canned newsletter. It was really, really easy for me to use. All I did was just set up my contacts and let it go. I've stopped using that now. Yes, it's easier, but what I've started doing is I've been writing my own newsletters. This one I did the beginning of May. So I also have the instructions in Conquer Command on how I did these. So there's email templates in your designs. And so you can go in and create a newsletter and add text and add sections and all of that good stuff. And then you go over to campaigns in Command. Here in campaigns. And you go to emails and create a new campaign. So here's one that I did over the weekend. So happy 4th of July. I actually did a few tests because one of the things that they're starting to make available is rather than using MailChimp, you can use command email. And so I wanted to use that. I had a few issues with it. One of the issues was I made a list of 755 people and it only sent out to 10. So that was a little bit of an issue. So I switched back to using MailChimp. And with MailChimp, I have my command PySynced to MailChimp. And you can do that by tags. Doesn't cost me anything as long as I just use one audience. So here's, oh, that's a preview. Okay, so I sent 646. I had 296 be opened. And what I've been finding since, so let's see. Oh, I'll show you what it looks like. Let me go back to my designs. I have tons of stuff in here, by the way. So this is what it looked like. And this is how I created it. So I have an image and then I have text. So I'm actually getting people responding back to me now where, you know, we were talking at the very beginning of rather than using something that's canned, one of the things that Command helps you do is to build relationships, and you can modify things so they sound like you, or they have different steps than possibly you're using for everybody else. So I just put this together, I think Friday, had an idea, and it's like, okay, let me talk about, you know, the 4th of July. And then I gave them kind of an update on what we can do with phase 2. And it has been interesting that people respond back to me, where with the e-edge, with the canned one, it was obvious it was canned. And okay, I saw that people were looking at it, but they never responded to me with it. And in some cases, they just unsubscribed. So I create my email templates in designs. There's also, if you do a campaign, there's a couple of default templates, but I don't like them. So I use these instead. You can also do, okay, so I talked about doing direct mailings. So also in campaigns, you can do direct mails. And these, and I know Lisa's done some of these, doing like just sold postcards. Actually, great functionality. It will say, hey, what's your address? How many do you want to send out? And you put your design in there, or you can use their default designs, which you won't like, but you can create a different design in designs, and it just goes and it identifies the ones around it. But you can also pick to send to your contacts also from the direct mail. Okay, that's kind of, is there something else you want to hear about? Do you want me to go a little bit further on something? What are your thoughts?
I just had a question, actually.
Okay.
So you're saying if you sold a house on any given street,
Yep.
you could set this up and it will send a postcard to every other house on that street?
Well, here, this is actually pretty fast. So advertise listings. So I'm going to say attracting listings, and I'm going to upload a custom template. Oops, I also always forget. Okay, so now to find where I have one. Because I don't usually keep them around. Oh, let's just go and let's say, let me do this. And even though I said you won't like the defaults, that's okay. So direct mail. Okay, attract listing. Let's do the default templates provided. And still have to put in that pesky name. Okay, so the name and goal is, we've already identified that. So we're going to go get the listing. Let's go use one of Jay's listings, okay? Okay? Okay, so it's now brought in that listing. So you can adjust these things if you want to, but I'm not going to do anything more with that. So I'm just going to save it. Description. Okay, we need to take out some characters. Listing photo, so you can pick which one you want to use. Oh, and it always says it's never quite high enough. I don't even know what this is. Doesn't matter. Low resolution. So use a better picture. So basically, you're going to have your listing pictures. Oh, here. My coffee with a capper one. Ah. Low resolution. Okay, so normally you'd have listings that are good. Okay, let me go find another one. Okay. So then your market center information. And I don't quite know why this doesn't have the logos on it. It should. I think it's just something that's missing for a moment. It's going to verify the address and okay, confirm. Okay, so now I'm good. So then here's your budget. And so you tell how many postcards you want to send out. So let's say I want to do less than this. So let's say I want to do 150. And I'm going to do a save on that. And then I'm going to do by configure targeting. Do I want to? Thanks, Brian. So this is the cool functionality. So here's where the house is. You can say, okay, you can modify the number of homes you want to target. Let's say you want to do only single family homes. You want to do those with 2 to 30 bedrooms. You can pick the year, scale the year built. So let's go with older homes, the year that's last sold. So you can configure this pretty well. So if you want to say, I only want to get those people that are ways away from, that sold a while ago, and what the price was, it's going to show you. And so I can change my number of homes if I want to. Let's say make it a larger number. Or let's say, hey, I only want to send 60 of them. And so it's telling me how much it is. And here's the next step. So it's creating the preview, but so it's going to set it all up. I think we use a company called Real Mailers, and they will mail it out for you. And this is what it's going to look like. So you can view a larger preview. And it's always going to be to current resident.
So, and that was my first question. And my second question was, do you actually get a list of the addresses that it went to or not?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it's pretty easy. And actually what I recommend is there's some really, really, really nice designs in designs. You can make prettier postcards than this. But I mean, honestly, all I did was I went and picked your house, okay, replaced it with a picture of mine. And it brought the information in and you pay them.
Cool.
And I know some people really, really like to send out postcards like that. I'm not a big direct mail person, but that's one of the things. So that doesn't really use your contacts. Where you can also set them up. There are other direct mails that will go to your contacts that are in the system.
Oh, cool.
So any other questions on contacts and what you can do with them? I mean, there's just so much that you can do with people once you've got them in there. The other thing, okay, so Kelly, if you don't have Kelly on your phone, get it. Because Kelly will, it has all your contacts in Kelly. So one, they're right here, but if I go, I don't know, can you guys see this? If I go to command and I go to contacts, I can find anybody and I can call them or email them right from my phone.
Cool.
And you can add them also from Kelly. Kelly's another thing that it's going to be replaced before too long in the next couple months by something that's called Command Mobile that will have more of the command functionality in it. I haven't seen what it looks like. But anyway, so in the palm of your hand, you can add new contacts. Say if you meet somebody on the street and you say, hey, can I just add you into my database? I want to get in touch with you. And you can do it right from there and they'll go directly into command.
Nice.
So yeah, lots of stuff here. You know, the first thing, you know, that I know you guys have been working on is, you know, getting your contacts all set up and stuff. And then now it's start playing with them. And if you're a little bit, yeah, go ahead.
That was super helpful.
Yeah, good. You know, and like I said, it's always good to put yourself in there as your alter ego so you can play with stuff. If you're not quite sure, you don't want something going out to, you know, 500 people that isn't going to be exactly like you want it to be. So it's always good to test stuff out, but lots of cool functionality, lots of things you can do. Oh, and opportunities. Okay. Opportunities. Was that your first listing, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you put it into opportunities yet?
Not yet.
You're behind.
It all happened too quick.
Yep, you're behind. Okay, so easy. So what I recommend to people now is that you start your opportunity from your contact record. So just go over to opportunities. Two ways to get to opportunities. You can go through here or you can go to here. Create an opportunity. And so you say what type it is, listing. So yours is a listing. Your client, so your client needs to be in the database. If there were two of them, you select the other one. Your opportunity name. Noelle appreciates it if you put the address on it too. Custom tags, you don't really need that. Estimated closing date. So you've got your listing price that you had, your commission rate. So in your case, if you don't have this started yet, you're going to be inactive. And actually your guy, by the way, dropped off the deposit check today.
Good.
So, okay. So the latest you can put it in is at negotiations. And you hit create opportunity, oh, commission rate. So your commission rate for that's going to be 3. And so now I have 2 of them. But so you've now created your opportunity and you can just go in through here and click on it. And here's your details. Here's where you're going to put your documents. And so when you have a listing, because you made it listed, you're going to have a folder both your listing paperwork and so you obviously have a purchase contract on it, under contract also. So you submit your listing paperwork here, which you were supposed to do within 48 hours. And you're under contract. And you want to submit that once the property inspection has cleared.
I'll catch up as soon as we hang up. How's that?
Okay. Okay. And so in the no folder, there is the submit paperwork file.
Mm-hmm.
That'll walk you through the steps
Okay,
if you need some help.
perfect.
But it's really, really easy.
Christine, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What if there's concessions on the home? Should you figure that out when you put in the listing price then?
Well, actually, I had exactly that situation, and I wrote that into the submitting paperwork into this document. What Noelle suggested is that, just lower the purchase price to identify the net purchase price and leave her a note. There's also another way to do it. You can add pieces into the commission that takes it off. But Noelle's happy with, if you've got concessions, just lower your purchase price, but then leave her a note and say, this was what the actual purchase price was. But yeah, I wrote that into the submitting paperwork. So that's a living, breathing document. When I learn something new, I'll put it in there. And, I also always keep trying to adjust my wording so it's understandable. I've had different people say, oh, well, I didn't quite get that, or I didn't quite understand that. So I keep trying to make it better. But that'll help you out. And it's actually really easy, Jay.
Good.
And so in there's also a link to a video that I did from a training class that'll take you through the whole process of different ways of getting your information into it. Lots of different ways. You can download it, bring it up from your computer. You can put it into DocuSign, take it in from there. All depends upon what works best for you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. And yeah, Lisa says too many. So actually next week, I think it's next Tuesday, I'm doing Command Your Payday. So that's going to be talking about opportunities from the beginning to the end. So all the way. So we really should be, if we really want to use the full functionality, when somebody has a glimmer in their eye and says, hey, I'm thinking about buying something, put them in there and create an opportunity for them. So that way you can track your sales pipeline. I also, the COVID questionnaire that I put together. So I use that out of DocuSign. So I get it whenever I'm showing something. I've already got my buyer's opportunity created, and I've got a DocuSign folder. So you'll learn more about this. The DocuSign room. So every day we go out to look, I just go into DocuSign and send them the DocuSign, the questionnaire through DocuSign, and it goes right into their room, and I save it away. So I'll be talking about some of that stuff. So again, a little bit differently than I've done it before, where before it was always, getting paid through Command. This time I'm going to do, the whole end to end for opportunities.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So we recorded.
Thank you.
This. So it will be out with the class recordings a little bit later.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Lisa.